Hi everyone, today is fifth video of daily reading series that I have started. This is recent one. This is recent series I started, and I'll be reading from the book of my interest. And currently, my book of interest is this Design as Art by Bruno Munari. And today's chapter is what is a designer. He's a planner with an aesthetic sense. Certain industrial products depend in large measure on him for their success. Nearly always the shape of a thing, be it a typewriter, a pair of binoculars, an armchair, a ventilator, a saucepan, or a refrigerator, will have an important effect on sales. The better designed it is, the more it will sell. The term designer was first used in the sense in America. It does not refer to an industrial designer who designed machines or mechanical parts, workshops or other specialized buildings. He is in fact a design engineer, and if he has a motor scooter on the drawing board, he does not give a great deal of importance to the aesthetic side of things, or at the most he applies a personal idea of what a motor scooter ought to look like. I once asked an engineer who had designed a motor scooter why he had chosen a particular color, and he said, because it was the cheapest. The industrial designer therefore thinks of the aesthetic side of the job as simply a matter of providing a finish, and although this may be most scrupulously done, he avoids aesthetic problems that are bound with contemporary culture because such things are not considered useful. An engineer must never be caught writing poetry. The designer works differently. He gives the right weight to each part of the project in hand, and he knows that the ultimate form of the object is psychologically vital when the potential buyer is making up his mind. He therefore tries to give it a form as appropriate as possible to its function, a form that one might say arises spontaneously from the function, from the mechanical part, when, where is one, when there is one, of course, from the most appropriate material, from the most up to date production techniques, from calculations of cost, and from other psychological and aesthetic factors. In the early days of rationalism, it used to be said that an object was beautiful insofar as it was functional, and only the most practical functions were taken into account. Various kinds of tools were used as evidence for this argument, such as surgical instruments. Today we do not think in terms of beauty but of formal coherence. And even the decorative function of the object is thought of as psychological element. For beauty in the abstract may be defined as what is called style, with the consequent need to force everything into a given style because it is new. Thus, thus, thus or thus. In the recent past, we have had aerodynamic style, which has been applied not only to aeroplanes and cars but to electric irons, perambulators, and armchairs. On an occasion, I even saw an aerodynamic hearse, which is a hearse ears or hearse hearse, which is about as far as the aerodynamic style can go, speeding the departing guest. Okay, it's already 4 minute, and I think we have therefore discarded beauty in the abstract sense as something stuck on the technical part of a thing, like a stylish car body or a decoration tastefully chosen from the work of some great artist. Instead, we have formal coherence. Rather, as we see it in nature, a leaf has the form it has because it belongs to a certain tree and fulfills a certain function. Its structure is determined by veins which carry the sap. The skeleton that supports it might have been worked out by mathematics. Even so, there are many kinds of leaf, and leaves of any single tree differ slightly among themselves. But if we saw a fig leaf on a weeping willow, we would have the feeling that all was not well. it would lack coherence. A leaf is beautiful not because it is stylish, but because it is natural, created in its exact form by its exact function. A designer tries to make an object as naturally as tree puts forth a leaf. He does not smoother his object with his own personal taste, but tries to objective. He has the object, if I may so put it, to make itself by its own proper means, so that a ventilator comes to have just the shape of a ventilator. A fiasco for wine has the shape that blown glass gives it. A cat is inevitably covered with cat fur. Each object takes on its own form, but of course, of course, of, of course, this will not be fixed and final because techniques change, new materials are discovered, and with every innovation, the problem arises again, and the form of the object may change. So I am keeping this video this much only, because it is already surpassed 6 minute. I don't want this to be longer, and I wanted to keep it as short as possible, and but sometimes it can go in the flow, and so yeah, I am stopping it right now here, only this much. And I'll be reading I think tomorrow I'll be reading another chapter, but it's good, I think. Yeah, this chapter is good. Okay, bye.